We now have session 6, which is expert talk, setting the field, and the presenter, Shvetal Desai. Shvetal Desai, co-founder, Nividus. Shvetal has over 25 years of experience in the process automation space, bringing a wealth of knowledge to assist clients in navigating their digital transformation journey. He plays a pivotal role in spearheading innovation for the Nividus intelligent automation platform. Bell band karwa dijiye. Shvetal's visionary leadership has been instrumental in positioning Nividus as a prominent thought leader in propelling digital transformation through intelligent automation. So, warm welcome to you, Shvetal. And for the next 20 minutes, it's all yours.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah, the cowbell reminds me of the bell you have in pastures when you want to call the cows back. The herd back from the grazing. So, very interesting. I heard you ask for a new bell. Thank you for allowing me to speak here. It's been a very interesting journey today morning, this morning, and yesterday, learning about all the different things that people have to add in terms of their experience. I've been given the most enviable slot of the day. So I don't have a song and dance show to keep this entertaining, but I'll make it as relevant as possible. So I'm going to be talking about my experience through 25 years of product process automation in the product space of process automation. So I'm talking particularly about intelligent automation, which a lot of you all may already be aware of. Some statistics here, the global AI market, intelligent automation market is growing at a 16.5% every year from 2022 to 2030. By 2024, 65% of organizations will have some elements of this within their organization: AI, ML, NLP, RPA, low-code, no-code, IDP, all of these jargons you've been hearing about. And Gartner says that the worldwide market for low-code automation development technologies is already 26.9 billion this year, and is increasing at a staggering rate from 2022. And this is kind of the chart that we have put together. This includes all the intelligent process automation technologies. You can see that the growth is, the trajectory is pretty phenomenal. It's going to be pervasive within your organizations if it's not already there. It may be in small or big way, but it's something that we expect everybody will have, if they don't already. So, what is intelligent automation? So, I was just talking to Priyaranjan a few minutes back during lunch, and then he said, I've heard about a lot of these RPA products that came a few years back, a lot of talk, but why don't I hear about them anymore? Precisely because, our opinion is that RPA, and I'll be talking more and expanding on this, RPA is going to fix problems for you with repetitive manual tasks where things, and of course I'm not going to expand more on this because everybody knows RPA today. It's, nobody's a stranger to it. It replaces what humans would do, where you don't have a lot of human thought involved. And then of course you add AI to it, and you add human judgment. We've been talking about that, adding value through all these different technologies. So these two of course added that. But we were hearing a lot of talk a few years back, long live RPA, BPM is dead. BPM is the business process automation platform. The workflow is what I'm referring to here. Workflow automation. So a lot of them came in the market saying these are competing technologies, they don't, one is going to replace the other, but that didn't happen. We saw a lot of OEMs happening, a lot of acquisitions, and that's where low-code process automation comes in. So I consider this, and I like to call it the glue of your enterprise. Without this, you can't scale. And I have some stories that I'll be talking through to tell you why. So scalability of, you can't scale silos. You will remain siloed, but eventually if you want to scale, you need to have a glue that glues all of these together in your enterprise. So let's talk about this through an example. A lot of you all are familiar with accounts payable. A lot of you all have already automated it. But so I decided to use this as an example that we can talk through. So these are all the different stages that you would see at a high level in your AP process. From paper, you scan it, you get things through email, shared drives, and you can automate these through RPA bots. So this is where RPA comes in, siloed automation, you do stuff, and you plug in your holes very quickly. In fact, this approach is very good because until a few years back, you had to do your entire process engineering, get your big teams together, and again, quoting what Biranjan said, that you have multiple different systems in your enterprise, you roll out your ERPs, it takes 1 year, maybe 2 years sometimes, and by the time you get there, business says, hey, thanks for giving me what I asked for, but hey, I'm sorry, my business has changed, or I didn't want this. You told me what you're giving, and I said yes, but I didn't really understand what you were trying to give me. So there's this disconnect. So if you roll out something that far out, you have multiple problems. Business changes very, very frequently now, so you cannot rely on these. So the fact that RPA allowed you bottom-up. So this top-down approach was replaced with the bottom-up approach, that's why RPA became so popular. That you can now fix your, patch your holes very quickly, your Band-Aid or whatever else you want to put, so you can get your automation going. Invoice data extraction, you added some intelligence, so now you're able to use AI, deep learning to extract from these and do the invoice data validation. Of course, human in the loop, we talked about that, or we heard some talks around that, how AI has to be also augmented with some human understanding, even today. Duplicate checks, two-way, three-way matching, rule-based exceptions. Again, RPA can do this very well with some aided intelligence. And then you can either reject or do your ERP posting. Again, RPA. But what's really missing, this is still siloed. And to quote what Sunny mentioned earlier, that together, alone I can do so little, but together I can transform my enterprise. So transforming the world, I have modified to enterprise. You see how this relates here as well. Where now if I'm on a transformation journey, I can actually connect all my silos into a way, in a meaningful manner, so then I can have dashboarding, MIS reporting, visibility across my enterprise. I know exactly where things are. And every enterprise works like this. It's not, you don't have silos, right? And this is not just one division, two division. Divisions have multiple processes, they're repeatable. A lot of them are being implemented in shared services. So there's a lot of repeatability and visibility that you can provide through adding your low-code, no-code to your AI and RPA. So what happens next? Well, you have done your invoice processing, but procure to pay consists of multiple other processes. So purchase requisition you can attempt next, purchase order creation, vendor onboarding and management, receiving goods and services, payment processing, accounting and reporting, and so on. So essentially, you can grow bottom up in your transformation journey without having to wait for too long to be able to transform your enterprise. And one of the biggest problems again is, when you implement these, if you don't think like business users, I like that comment earlier that if you don't wear your business user hat, if you don't think like an actual user, you will never be successful in this journey. So to be able to do that, when you do these silos, you are able to quickly fill those gaps because they are quick rollouts. You don't wait for long. You fail quickly or you succeed. So this is another very important thing. That's why this whole approach has been so successful so far. So then you expand it beyond your procure to pay in finance and accounting, human services, sales, marketing, compliance, customer services, customer onboarding, information technology, supply chain, and so on and so forth. So every part of your enterprise can now be connected. All your dots can connect and give you the end-to-end visibility that you desire. So let's talk about a few such stories that we have gone through in our experience. So this is an enterprise automation for a global specialist in electrical and digital building infrastructure. It has 6 lines of businesses, 80 iconic brands, 6 different parts. plants rather, and full-time employees, 12, multiple invoices processing, and a lot of time for invoice. So this is typically one area that people try to plug the holes first, because there's a lot of errors because of human intervention. There's a lot of backlog. There are also value adds. We will talk a little bit about that. Value adds which are not direct, which are not ROI in terms of monetary gains, but we'll address that in a bit. But high process turnaround and cost per invoice, process visibility is an important part, because vendors need to know and get paid quickly, and they need to know where things are. And of course, in all these enterprises, there are different systems. They all don't talk well to each other, and that's where you need a glue of your enterprise. I'll be using that term a lot more. So what we achieved was 95% elimination of rework. This is important because every time you do rework, it's cost. The team size was reduced, and this is not an indication that this is interesting also, because when people talk about RPA, they say, and we're not just talking RPA, but when I talk about RPA in particular, it's going to replace people, people are not going to be needed anymore. Nowhere in any of our implementations have we seen that people cut people, that enterprises cut people, because as a growing enterprise, you are always going to scale. You're going to use the same people to do much more. So it's never going to be, and if you're working with a company that's not scaling, then that's a different problem. But they won't be in business for too long if they're not able to leverage the same team to do more work. Predefined SLAs, timely task completions, extending it to a vendor portal for externalizing. So this is where value creation also happens, where you go beyond your enterprise to your vendors, your partners, and your customers too, where you can extend your value beyond for visibility and many other things. I'll be covering that in the next case study. Data extraction accuracy was very high in this case. It's interesting because when you talk AI, it is everybody does everything. But really the proof is your accuracy in how you achieve it. We had a talk earlier about how human in the loop will prevent problems, or reviewing is necessary regularly, because you don't know how accurate your solution may be. So having a highly accurate solution reduces that cost even further, because it reduces effort directly. We were able to get 85% faster in invoice booking, the two-way, three-way matches, the PO, the non-PO, all of that was covered. So a lot of things were already talking, systems were talking to each other, and we were able to get this end-to-end transformation done much quicker. And now what happened is, because we were able to transform that part quickly, then the same solution, the same platform was extended to all of these different areas in the enterprise: design to dispatch, order to dispatch, capital purchase requisition workflows, slow-moving processes, AR processes, bad debts. In fact, I won't go through all, but essentially we were able to get this in the hands of citizen developers, business users, to be able to do the simple workflows in their organization. Very important, actually. All organizations, as they transform, they're realizing that there are multiple workflows in your organization. Not all of them are well organized. Some of them had to be ad hoc, some of them had to be put in the hands of business users, and to be able to have them fashion it themselves in the way they want, create templates, and the sequences is very important. So we are seeing that more and more as a requirement that is coming up. This is another very interesting use case. This is one of the largest automotive manufacturers in India, and this is where I'll talk a little more about the value add. So at 50 full-time employees, 5.5 lakh documents per month. Each document itself took 5 minutes, 20 documents for each case. This was an exchange claim process where the dealers, so here we are talking outside of your organization, your dealers, this is a pan-India rollout. So about 5,000 dealers all across India were processing claims for customers. Loyal customers would come in, would provide all their documents, they would be uploaded by the dealer, and then for the new car they would get some bonus back, cash back. And there were all kinds of different documents, including very difficult documents like RC books. If you see, some of these are very faded over time, very difficult to read from. So accuracy of the solution was very important. They were already, vendors in there. There were other RPA, there were other BPM vendors, but they really wanted something that was integrated, an intelligent automation solution that would be able to do the end-to-end flow without having to make all the systems talk to each other. The volume was very high, and it was of course time-consuming with auditors having to spend a lot of time reviewing stuff at the back end. All this data once extracted had to go through third-party websites, government websites and stuff, and the like, insurance websites, to be able to verify all this information through RPA bots. And when all the data comes in, finally, so all this was manual before we automated it. And fraud, there was a lot of fraud because people would doctor documents and stuff. So there were multiple problems, and of course couldn't meet SLAs. Dealers were unhappy because they don't get paid on time. They had also internal users, not only the external users but internal users. So what happened is the first exchange claim process was implemented. They got huge benefits, more than 10 million documents processed as of today. Their TAT, turnaround time, was reduced considerably. More than 600K savings in cash flow predictions. Most importantly, savings in working capital of top 10 dealers, more than 10 million. So their dealers themselves benefited from this significantly. So this is value add beyond the organization itself. And another value add, they got 4 fraudulent claims in 2 months because this was a synchronous upload, synchronous extraction, and you could only extract from documents, you could not type in. So that made sure that no fraudulent documents come through, and rather no fraudulent information is entered. They were able to reduce their FTE significantly. That's the ROI in terms of monetary benefits, but there's much more beyond over there. The same system was then, and of course, very high accuracy and more than 200 million worth of claims processed to date. But what's very interesting is this gave them the confidence to do the same for institutional sales, rural sales, commercial bulk. All of these are very similar processes in different divisions. So repeatable solutions that we have heard about earlier also came to the fore here, that you were able to then create the same value across your different divisions. Not only that, the global spare parts export claim process, which is now taking it beyond India, globally to all their other locations. And direct buying claim process and commercial acquisition process. So all of these are the different processes they implemented on the same platform to gain leverage beyond what they would have got from just one rollout. This is one of the largest conglomerates in the world. I've captured different case studies to just give you a little variety of where this can be applied. It's not just limited to, say, manufacturing. This is HR. We talked about finance and accounting earlier. So here, this is a reduction in force process for the largest conglomerate across pretty much every country that we can imagine. It was very complicated for them because they had all these different systems when they're laying off people or they're having mergers, and employees are moving around. They need to look at a lot of things. This was in the US, so there was a lot of lawyers to be consulted for various things. They had to look at stock options. They had to look at visas of the employees, and various other things that you would normally not think through. It was complex to the point where about 350 tasks for just doing this entire thing, and significant number of systems to talk to, which all of them don't talk to each other. That's another thing. Now with the advent of SaaS, every system has cloud integrations, but they don't do custom integrations for you. So how do you get them to talk to each other? That's another problem. That's where, again, robots can be very effective. So this was having a lot of problems, very high turnaround time for tasks. They couldn't get things done, and more than the compliance was a bigger problem for them, to be making sure that they don't do anything wrong, because it could bring very large, far-reaching lawsuits. So they added a lot of trackability, the scalability that they needed, and improvements beyond what they had thought. So there was a value add in multiple different ways: data processing, fast turnaround times, and better employee engagement. So this led to many other things that you could then automate within the enterprise. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but essentially they were able to go beyond and automate things that they would have not thought possible when you are talking about a global rollout of sorts. A little bit about our company. Nimbus is an intelligent automation company, covers robotic process automation, low-code automation, and artificial intelligence in the same platform. That's a big differentiator, because if you have just one or two of these, you won't be able to achieve a whole end-to-end hyper-automation or a full-blown enterprise automation story where you can scale. You will be limited in silos and will be stuck there for a long time. This brings me to the end of my talk. I'd invite any questions if anybody has. Any questions? Okay, I have about a minute, so I'll talk about another. You have a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I can ask. So when you're offering these solutions to the finance world, were they more inclined for the full suite solution or these fragmented solutions?
So that's interesting, because there was another question earlier that how should I attempt my automation? So I'm of the opinion, this is my personal opinion of course, that when you are trying to automate your enterprise, don't look at best case or what is my ideal solution. If I want to get things done, I want to be quick and I want to be able to deliver stuff, I will plug in the holes first, what I can very quickly. If I have technology that allows me to do it quickly, then I would plug those first. That's where I would use RPA, I would add some intelligence. I can then transform later. I buy myself time, right? I've fixed my problem, immediate problem. I've already created some savings in terms of time or whatever else. Now I can transform it to be a better process. It also helps you to move upwards along the chain. But what is essential is I need something that will give me the visibility. Just the silos are not enough. So I always suggest that, don't wait for that perfect solution, because trying to document itself will take forever. Get what you can quickly out there, fail quickly if you need to, but more often than not, you don't fail because these are quick solutions. You don't have business changing so quickly. So you plug those gaps and then build your enterprise workflows on top using low-code automation.
Thank you.
If I have just a minute, I'll cover another very interesting case study. I haven't covered it here, but there's been a little talk around it. But there was an order management solution that was for a very large media company that they were struggling for many years. They tried a couple of times to automate it. It's the largest media company in the world, does subtitling and translations. And for that they have 40 different countries that they have to reach out to, each one. And it's a very interesting story because this is evolution, the best evolution story I can think of. So Great Plains was a system they were using in the US, Germany and Poland were using different versions of Navision. Asia was a very small setup using Excel sheets for all of their operations, order management and everything. So they wanted to build a global order management product and a solution, and that could not have been achieved without using intelligent automation, because you necessarily needed to have versioning capability, because if you have a centralized solution, each one talking to different systems, as well as each one evolving at different times. So you need to have something that can be version capable, so you can have multiple versions coexisting. And as you upgrade your ERPs in different regions, they still should be able to function in the same way as your global order system. So it was very interesting use case. I won't have time to cover it today, but I just thought I'll throw a little light on it. So they were successful third time around, and this was almost 7 years back and still in business and evolving. So thank you very much for your time, and hopefully I didn't catch anybody too.
Just stay for a moment, please. Just one moment. Thank you very much, Shvetal, for enlightening all of us. May I request Sanchala Peshwe, Head Finance Shared Services at Tata Autocom, to please come up to give a thank you memento to Shvetal Desai.
Thank you very much.
Please go to the center.
No.